When in terms of creativity and madness, I want to talk about life experiences. And when one talks about madness and your life experience, I think we cannot not talk about Hunter Thompson.
Oh.
And
yes,
talk about yeah.
He deserves you. Thank you.
Let's talk about your relationship to Hunter and the things. Well, in some ways as a mentor, but a friend, and how he affected your thoughts about things.
Hunter was a lot of things to me, and when I met him, it was at the Woody Creek Tavern, and
which I've been to.
Yeah,
I took Stephen Hawking there once, actually. Yeah, I did. Anyway, that's a different. Anyway,
man, wow. To have been a fly on the wall, but also. How I wish Hunter had been there.
Me too. Me too, actually.
I met Hunter through a mutual friend. I was at the Woody Creek Tavern, as far back in the back as I could get to avoid the novelty syndrome. And next thing I know, the front door bursts open. He's kicked it open. And I see nothing but kind of electricity. Because in his right hand, he had a cattle prod. It's about yay big. And he's swinging that around. And in his left, he had a stun gun. And threatening on you. So when a man walks in with that much power and screaming, "Get out of my way! Out of my way, you bastards!" He found his way to my table, walked up, introduced, took his hand out. We shook hands. He introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Hunter." I said, "Yeah, Johnny, hey." You know. Immediately we started talking about, we're both from Kentucky. He was from Louisville. And I don't know, it clicked. So he invited me to his house that night, and we were spending time together, and I noticed there was a beautiful nickel-plated shotgun, Smith, 12 gauge, and I said, "Wow, that's a beautiful shotgun." He says, "Oh yeah, it's wonderful. You want to fire it?" It's about 2:33 in the morning, so of course I wanted to fire it. Of course. So then he arrived into his kitchen, which was what he called his, sort of command post. And he handed me a propane tank. I had a cigarette hanging out of my mouth. So I've got the propane tank, and then he hands me a small box about yay big, looked like a box of matches or something. I didn't know what it was, so he says, "Yeah, tape this to the side." So I'm taping it to the side. I did a couple of them. I said, what are these little boxes? He said, "Oh, that's nitroglycerin." Okay. The cigarette went into the sink, and we took him outside. He handed me the shotgun, and it was almost like I felt like it was being, like it was a test in a way. So I aimed at the deal. It was about, 30 yards away. I hit the target, the nitroglycerin. The explosion was an 80-foot fireball. Straight into the air, and which included shrapnel. And that was it. That's where you
bonded.
Yeah.
But you bonded over more than that. I mean, Hunter was crazy, but he was a remarkable writer, and also a reader. And you guys used to read together. You used to read. Didn't you read to each other or something?
What Hunter would do is one of the things that he found most fascinating was that I was not only aware of a writer called Nathaniel West, but I'd read the 4 books, only 4 books, Nathaniel West, Day of the Locusts, The Dream Life of Balsos. I mean, a wonderful writer. And he was shocked that I knew Nathaniel West's work. So we would read, or he would read a bit, and then he would have me read. And then we started reading his works, things he was working on at the time. And what he would do to me is he became a conductor, you know. I would read, you know, from whatever the work was, you know, and he would, you know, I'd read and he'd go, yes, let's slow down, back up, okay, now hit it there, okay. And so basically Hunter taught me how he wanted his work read, and which is I mean, if there's anything such as a blessing, that was it.
But then you learned, as a result, you sort of got to, well, I mean, you had the opportunity to play him in front of him, in a sense.
Yeah.
And then you got to play him on the screen.